Did you know that you need Jesus and a therapist? Today we are talking about the benefits of going to therapy after a breakup. Go ahead and cue my theme music. Hey Rebel, welcome to Untoxify Your Relationship. Here we will talk about all things healthy and how to get that toxic mess out of you and your partnership. I'm your host, Melissa Webb, a practicing licensed mental health therapist with 10 years experience. All right, let's go ahead and hop into it. Hey y'all, so we just gonna go ahead and start talking about it. Of course, I'm gonna talk about myself because I am guilty of not going to therapy before hopping into a new relationship. I thought I was not the problem. I thought that it was always someone else's problem. That's why none of my relationships worked. I was not self-aware. I knew I had anxiety, but I didn't know my anxiety was as bad as it was back in the day. And I hopped into a new relationship and all hell broke loose because I was super anxious. My anxious attachment showed up, and baby, it showed out. It was some things that were brought to my attention that I was like, whoa, I didn't even know I did that. And of course, I did my blaming. I was very defensive. I was very, as I like to call people, toxic, unhealthy, and was not my best version of myself for that relationship. Ultimately, we broke up, and then I found me a therapist. Was like, I don't know what happened. It's all his fault. And my therapist was like, no, girl, it's you. You the problem. I share that story because a lot of people was like me, because I'm not like that no more. But a lot of people were like me who just go into these relationships and they think nothing is wrong with them. They think everybody else is the problem, but yet they keep having the same type of relationship with the same type of results. And it's like, baby girl, everything ain't everybody else's fault. Like, you play a role in this too. My motto is when I work with clients, especially one-on-one, is that you need Jesus and a therapist. You need a therapist to help you process through these emotions, process through these patterns and triggers that you have that can help you become more self-aware. And also you need Jesus to help you, to empower you through that whole therapy process, because baby, it's a process and you need a village to help you through getting through therapy. So today we're going to talk about 3 benefits of going to see a therapist, because I definitely see the benefits in seeing a therapist before hopping into something new. I was able to learn more about myself and become more self-aware and understand how my triggers and my emotions and how everything kind of works all together. So we're going to talk about the top 3 reasons why you need to go see a therapist before getting into a relationship. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So the first thing a therapist can help you with is working through your relationship trauma, aka relationship PTSD. That's what I like to call it. And you will have relationship PTSD if you went through a breakup, a divorce, anything. I think a lot of people have relationship PTSD and they just don't even realize it. So you'll have it if you dated a narcissist, have relationship PTSD if you dated someone who has narcissistic tendencies, because those are 2 different things. In order to be a narcissist, you have to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder by someone who can diagnose someone, so like a psychiatrist or psychologist. But a lot of times people aren't diagnosed and people are just out here calling people narcissists and they don't have a diagnosis, which ain't cool. So a lot of times people have narcissistic tendencies because they have some of the traits that you need in order to be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. That's a whole episode for a whole nother day. I'm not going to get into that, but you will definitely have trauma if you dated either one of those people. You'll have trauma if you dated an abusive person, someone who's unhealthy, because those are 2 different things. If you went through a bad breakup, if you went through a bad divorce, or just a breakup or divorce period, because that is something that is ending, especially if y'all spent a lot of time together. And you'll also have some trauma if you dated the same person or you date the same type of person, because if you keep dating the same person over and over again, my question is always, who's changed and how would this be different this time around. If you date the same type of person, then this becomes a pattern. Even if you date the same person, it's still a pattern. Like, why can we not break this pattern in order to get to something better? If you don't address the trauma from the relationship, you will continue to be in this state of mind, the survival state of mind when you go into this new relationship. You'll also carry baggage from previous relationships into your new relationship, which means that you're going to project on your new person, on your new partner. There's going to be projectile vomiting on this person, all the things that has happened to you, and this person really does not deserve to get vomited on. That is one reason why you need to work through your stuff before getting into something new. I always say when you don't work on trauma, it's like holding on to pain and not wanting to let it go. Because when you don't work on trauma and you hop into a new relationship, that pain just follows you. And that's how you end up vomiting on your partner or carrying that baggage, because you just like the pain and you're just in survival. If you're always in survival, you won't know how to thrive in a new relationship because you're always in survival mode. Let's end that. Let's end that so that way you can have a good, healthy relationship. When it comes to the Bible, God tells us that He's with us in the valley, He's with us in the mountain, He is with us wherever we go. He says He will never leave us nor forsake us. And I think that's important when you are working through trauma, because some of that stuff can get very dark. It can get really heavy and you're like, woo, this therapy process, this is dumb. But I think at the end of the day, if you go through it, you'll be able to process through it. You will be able to learn more about yourself and learn who you are, and just let all that crap go, because you can't have something better if you're continuing to hold on to past stuff. So just know God is with you through all of that, and He's giving you strength to get through that. He's also empowering your therapist to help you through that. So God got to be in it. That's why I say you need Jesus and a therapist, because you just don't need Jesus. You just don't need therapy. You need both. And you got to trust that the Holy Spirit is not only empowering you, it's also empowering your therapist. I always say get you a Christian therapist, but if not, you better pray that Jesus talk to that person, whoever it is. The second thing a therapist can help you with is addressing communication. There's 4 types of communication: aggressive, passive, and assertiveness. Aggressive behavior is expressing feelings and opinions strongly. So that is blaming, shouting, yelling, being critical, verbally abusive. Passive aggressive is expressing anger and related emotions without directly communicating them. So that is sarcasm, giving the silent treatment, criticizing, backhand compliments, manipulation, gaslighting. All of that is passive aggressive. Passive communication is when a person avoids expressing their needs, values, and opinions. I call that the apologetic communication. It's like I'm sorry I said this, I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that. Don't be sorry, just say what you mean and mean what you say, right? Passive is very timid communication. Where we want to live and where we want to be at is assertive communication. That is expressing your point of view that is clear and direct while respecting others. Where most people live when it comes to communication is aggressive, passive aggressive, and passive communication. Why? And here is a couple of reasons why people live in those 3. It's because they're insecure. They have a fear. Maybe it's fear of being alone, fear that they may hurt someone's feelings, fear of conflict. They might have difficulties expressing their emotions or managing their emotions. Or again, they want to avoid some type of conflict. which I have to say that if you're in a relationship with anybody, whether it's romantic, friendship, family ship, whatever ship you own, there's going to be conflict. Why? Because people are not perfect and people are going to mess up. So there is no avoiding conflict. So if you're a person like, I just want to avoid conflict, you might as well not be in a relationship with nobody, because conflict is going to come up and you have to handle it. How you handle conflict will determine how you handle that relationship. So if you handle conflict poorly, you probably not going to have healthy relationships. I'm just saying. And you gotta remember that relationships are important. It's probably one of the most important things you ever do while you're on this earth. You have to talk to people. You have to have relationships with others. So knowing how to talk to them and communicate to other people is very crucial to your social life and life in general. Because, if you don't know how to talk to people, you screwed. Gonna be by yourself all the time. One person in the Bible who was very assertive was Jesus the Christ. He was assertive in all his situations. He was assertive when it came to talking to the devil, when the devil was trying to get him to sin, and he was like, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And it's like, okay. He was assertive in many different situations. One of my favorite situations that he was in, that he was assertive, was when the Pharisees brought him a woman that they caught in the act of adultery. And basically they were trying to trick Jesus into saying something wrong. What they didn't know who they was talking to. They didn't know they were talking to Jesus the Christ. And the thing with the Pharisees that tripped me up is that, one, they set this woman up to set up Jesus, which means they wasn't right themselves. Two, they brought the woman half naked, but they ain't bring the man. Like, you gonna bring the woman, please bring the man with you. And three, I didn't like the Pharisees because they walked around as like holier than thou, pompous, arrogant buttholes who just thought they knew everything and was really trying. They put a lot of their energy into trying to trick Jesus, which I was like, y'all use a lot of energy in the wrong space. But that's another story for another day, for someone who uses their energy in the wrong space when they should be using their energy in something else. Like, I don't understand how people can be so mad all the time. Like, you using a lot of energy to make your face frown, and I'm out here being joyful. Again, another story for another day. When they brought this woman who was caught in the act of adultery, Jesus stooped down. He didn't say anything. He just stooped down, wrote something in the ground, and basically said, if any one of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw the stone at her. And they all slowly walked away. Jesus could have did a couple of things in this situation. He could have pointed out everyone's sin. He could have got angry, like, why would you bring this woman? Who are you? Y'all suck. He could have called them out. Jesus could have did so many things. But instead, he did a read on them. He read them in a way that I ain't never seen a read. Like, he said, if any one of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw the stone at her. The whole point is that we can take a lesson from Jesus in learning how to be assertive. And therapy can also help you with learning healthy communication skills and building confidence to use those healthy skills. So give yourself grace when you're learning, because practice makes progress. You're going to mess up. I always tell people, because people always ask me, well, if I mess up, I'm like, you will. And that's okay, because you're learning and growing. You're going to learn and grow from your mistakes. So at the end of the day, give yourself grace when you mess up, when you're not, when your assertiveness turns into anger, or when your assertiveness turns into passiveness. It's okay. Let's just learn from it, move on, not dwell on it. And we're going to keep trying to be assertive out here in these streets, because you will need that in relationships. Because if you're not assertive, your needs will not get met and you're going to be miserable. And we ain't trying to be out here miserable in these dating streets. The third thing that a therapist will help you with is addressing your emotions. After a breakup or being single for a while, you may want to process your emotions. Emotions are not good or bad. they're just emotions. They're just there. They do make you feel a type of way. So some emotions may make you feel comfortable and some may make you feel uncomfortable. And that's okay. Becoming self-aware of your emotions can help you to manage them. When your emotions can get out of hand and you don't know how to manage them, that's how you lose self-control. And we know self-control is part of the fruit of the Spirit. That is something that the Spirit can give you. Self-control. Proverbs, it tells us a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. So we know that back in the day, a city had walls around it. When there are no walls, anybody can get in and take over. So that's what happens when we don't have self-control. Anything or anybody can get in and take over, right? When I say anybody, that means that someone can make you, I won't say somebody can make you upset because nobody can make you upset. But somebody can do something and next you know you're upset and then you're losing control because you don't know how to manage your emotions. So at the end of the day, a therapist can help you to become self-aware of your emotions and how you're feeling. So that way you'll be able to manage them better and you won't get out of control. Also, we can have the Holy Spirit again help us to empower us to teach us that self-control. Now, for those of you that want to go to therapy, I have created a therapy journal that you can go out and buy right now. It's called Your Guide to Healing, a Therapy Journal. And in there, it tells you 7 reasons why you should go to therapy. It also helps you to find a therapist. And it has pages in there to keep track of your healing journey from session 1 all the way to session like 30 something. I think I have like pages for 30 something sessions. And you can keep track of your sessions before, during the session, and after the session, whether you have homework or you just want to write down your thoughts. So the therapy journal is out there on Amazon. I'm going to add a link to it in the show notes so that way you can go ahead and get it. I'm telling you now, people have bought it. They love it. I haven't really promoted it, but I'm out here promoting it again. So go ahead and get the therapy journal if you want to go to therapy. And that's it. That's the post. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. Again, I'm going to put links in the show notes for you to go ahead, cop that therapy journal. Tell your auntie, uncles, and cousin and them about the show. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share with someone that you know that may find this show helpful. Stay classy, stay non-toxic, and I will see y'all next time. Peace. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and share this episode with your family and friends. Don't forget to check out the quiz to figure out what your toxic trait is. The link is in the show notes. Thank you and see you next time.